Okay, so what's this Stephen Miller freakout clip? This freaky little white nationalist. White people, we are the superior race. The white people in question. Hello, sir. You it's like an Unreal 5 demo. Look at how many independent sources of reflection you can get from one man's face. You are shiny.
What will happen? All these
Day one.
all these criminal migrants that have been flooded in the country are going to be the first to get thrown out of here.
Oh, okay, so for those of you who don't know, this guy, he's done advisory on immigration policy for the Trump campaign. He's a white nationalist. It's pretty explicit. He's in the J.D. Vance camp of being one of these greasy, like, 4chan neo-Nazi types where he's not as concerned with dog whistling, and when he does dog whistle, he does it while grinning like the Grinch, you know, because he's so clever and smart. He's in that, like, category of guy.
I mean, you've seen case after case, these heartbreaking tragedies. Those ones are going to get found and deported first. And look at this Venezuelan gang. You have a Venezuelan gang that is taking over entire apartment buildings in Aurora, Colorado, and that's responsible, by the way, for some of the most heinous crimes that have happened all over the United States. The crime rate in Venezuela is down, I believe, a little bit over 60% over the last several years.
Are you trusting the official figures from the Venezuelan dictatorship?
Let's put it this way. If you're a dictator of a poor country with a high crime rate, wouldn't you send your criminals to our open border?
That wasn't my question. Are you trusting the figures of the dictatorships? Those are Maduro numbers.
Believing Maduro numbers?
I am believing that it is in the interest of a criminal dictator to let his criminals out of their jails and
He just sounds so stupid when he says anything. Yeah, no, I genuinely, yeah, Stephen Miller, I think, maybe it's just how he sounds or how he is. He's a stupid guy. You don't have to be smart to be a smarmy internet neo-Nazi. In fact, being smart would be a detriment to that point, because if you were smart, you wouldn't be that, you know? There is a direct relationship between IQ and racism, and it's not the relationship that white nationalists want you to think it is. This is another, they're coming, they say, the woke left, they're like, IQ isn't real. Well, then explain the relationship between it and being racist to me, motherfucker. Because I think there actually is a pretty strong scientific argument to be made for the, you know, the usefulness of IQ as a metric. It just doesn't point the way they think it does. It's incredible. The correlative lines between fear response, racism, and IQ, mother. You aren't bright. Do you think he even understands how stupid he sounds? They never do. Self-assuredness is also a low IQ trait. Except when I do it.
To our country.
Do you have numbers, real numbers, not the dictatorship numbers?
The Venezuelan gangs that have, you've seen the CCTV footage. I have a question. Who do you think? Answer me this.
My family is from Venezuela. Yes. I know very well the situation of Caracas and many other cities.
Right, tell me, who were the people with the high...
Who were the people? He sounds the way I do when I'm making fun of you with a stupid voice. Okay, so listen to me. Who were the people...
Powered rifles in the hallway of that apartment building? Who were they?
They were gangsters from Venezuela.
Right. No American community.
But I was asking to you about figures, numbers.
What I'm saying to you is the facts are the dead bodies. The facts are...
You said that Caracas has a lowest crime rate than the USA.
The facts are the mutilated bodies. The facts are the people in the morgues that are dead.
I was asking you about Caracas and the numbers in Caracas. Are you trusting the numbers of the dictatorship?
I am trusting the fact that Kamala...
yeah, how dare you not let me evade the same question 9 consecutive times? Don't you know? Journalists are supposed to only force me to dodge the question 8 times.
Harris is letting illegal immigrants into this country who are raping and murdering children.
I had been very respectful. Why are you yelling?
Do you know who Jocelyn Ungary is? Do you know who she is?
Do you know how many people is experiencing violence in Caracas?
Who is she? Who is Laken Riley?
Why are you yelling again?
Because I'm yelling because children are being raped and murdered.
I was just asking for figures, and you have not replied to me about those figures.
Murdered. Do you know who Kayla Hamilton is?
Do you trust the numbers of Nicolas Maduro? I'm asking again.
I trust a ruthless dictator will empty his prisons and send...
By the way, quick question. Why can somebody explain to me how it makes sense that a dictator would, quote unquote, empty their prisons and send their criminals to America as opposed to just executing them? Like, how are you sending them out? Why wouldn't the criminals stop in, like, Mexico or Honduras or something? Why would they, like, go forth, my criminals, march up, like they're a commissioned military unit? Like, how are they ensuring, do they have, like, commissars with them who will shoot them in the head if they ever stop going forward? Do they have, like, escorts? Do we have videos of the Venezuelan commissars that are accompanying the penal colony legions that they're sending north? How does any of this happen? You know what a political prisoner in Venezuela, am doing as soon as I make it up to the United States? Definitely immediately jeopardizing my stay in the United States by committing crimes. You kidding? You've been given a ticket into the United States of America? Vosh, 2 words, migrant catapults. Yeah, they have like MERV ICBMs being fired out of Venezuela daily. They fire a big one right up north, and then they deploy to 1,000 like mini missiles, little drop pods with 1 criminal in it per each, and they all like land across America and immediately go committing arsons or something. Why is Miller so emotional? Well, because his argument is an emotional one. Kamala Harris is letting illegal immigrants rape and murder children. It's like, it's a low IQ thought terminating cliche that doesn't correspond to reality. Illegal immigrants commit less crimes on average than domestic Americans. There's absolutely no front for this argument, but it's an emotional one. It's only meant to sound good if you don't think about it. So the fact that this reporter isn't like giving up on this question, it's a really simple question to ask too, or sorry, to answer. Like Stephen Miller could say, we are using those figures, but we have no reason to believe they're inaccurate or whatever. Like I mean, there are many routes he could take around this, but Stephen Miller just isn't that bright. He's not a very smart guy. None of them are. If they were smart, they wouldn't be who they are. These people aren't like the Republicans of the 1980s and 90s who are essentially businessmen who craft lies to a very deliberate end goal. These people have bought their own product. They're high off their own supply. They're brain rotted in the same way their constituents are, you know?
Send their criminals to our country.
So you trust his numbers?
The most dangerous gang in Venezuela is
you
now
trust Nicolas Maduro?
I trust that he does not want his criminals to be...
So you believe in his numbers?
I believe he's sending his criminals...
Another pointer, by the way, is how soy he comes across here, you know? It's like, it's a man who's unused to being angry, you know what I mean? Like, well, maybe it's not that he's unused to being angry, it's that he's unused to being angry in a masculine way. Like, look at him. He's like, he's doing this, like, preening, come on, Steven. Don't get too worked up now. American media coddles these. Yeah, 100%. Widespread journalistic malpractice. Every news org in the country knows the game, which is that if you ask real questions or you push too hard, you don't get invited for another round of questioning. That's why the rare times you get actual like real questions, that is some of the foreign journalists when the Secretary of State speaks, because the government is, well, at least I should say Biden's administration isn't as willing to throw people out or deny them the ability to attend press conferences if they're a little rowdy, whereas Trump would. Remember, Trump would kick people out of the press briefings very readily, because again, fascists cannot stand being questioned. Their stupid bullshit can't stand scrutiny, so they need to immediately like shelter themselves from criticism.
Criminals to our country.
And do you think that the crime rate in Venezuela have decreased?
Do you not believe the law enforcement reports of Venezuelan gangs in this country?
I was asking for the Venezuelan government figures, not the figures here.
Are Venezuelan gangs in this country or not? Yes or no?
What are the figures that you say to say that in Caracas the number is lower than in the USA?
Are Venezuelan gangs in this country or not?
So you don't have numbers?
You know who has numbers? The Department of Homeland Security. You can ask my...
I'm getting a real Dan Herschel vibe from him with this. Don't you think so? I keep expecting him to like paint red like war paint on his face and scream as loud as he can. I'm getting like it feels like a bit. Henschel. Yeah, Dan Henschel.
New York is for numbers. You can ask the Director Ray for the numbers.
Sir,
I'm telling you.
You said that in Venezuela the crime rate is lower than the USA.
Yes, because
what are your numbers? That's my question.
Because the criminals are here now.
Those are Maduro's numbers.
I can tell you again that Border Patrol agents are encountering thousands
you trust
of
Maduro numbers?
I trust the border agents in our country.
But I am not saying that Caracas has a lower...
How would border agents in our country have reliable figures on A, the Venezuelan crime rate, B, the American crime rate, or C, crimes committed by Venezuelan migrants in the country? That's not their job. That's not what they do. They're at the border. That's a completely different thing.
Crime rate.
Children are dead, and you...
It's so f***ing soy, dude. It's so emotional. Men are too emotional to get into politics, I'm telling you. But this is the shit that works with the Republican base. They're stupid and emotional, you know? You can't answer the same question asked to you 20 times in a row. So they're, babies are being eaten, man! Infants are being blended. You ah! They're eating the cats. Ah! Please, someone get me the Henschel screaming in the car bit. My voters are all morons.
You are wasting my time.
No, I am not wasting your time. I'm asking for facts as a journalist.
Do you have any remorse for the dead children?
Yeah.
Do you care at all about the dead children?
The blended babies.
Then that's what I want to leave you with, is that Donald Trump will come
was just
to
asking for
office.
figures.
Here's what's going to happen. Donald Trump is going to be elected president, and the migrant gangs are going to be sent home. Children's lives will be saved. And you know who will benefit the most? Are the working class Hispanic communities that are...
He's bringing it back at the end of all this. He's like, hold on, we have to make an insincere appeal. And you know who most stands to benefit from the babies that we will save from the blenders? The Hispanic working class. Thank you. Please vote for the person who I work with, a white supremacist.
Are besieged by gang violence.
So you don't have figures.
Public schools that are being overtaken by migrant gangs. You have MS-13 that is brutalizing children. You have Kayla Hamilton, who was a 20-year-old autistic girl who was raped and murdered, beaten to death. That will end. That will stop, and our children's lives will be saved. That is the most virtuous thing that can possibly be done.
Virtuous.
You're going to save...
How you can tell when a person gets their political education from the internet, when they use the term virtuous. You can read these pointers so easily in like where they get their information from. No regular beat politician would use the term virtuous when screaming about MS-13 raping autistic girls. Like the word would not be in the vocabulary here, you know?
The lives of our children. We will not let Kamala Harris condemn them to a life of misery, suffering, and death. Thank you.
I have not replied my question.
Nice. Yeah, that's about right. Man, I love the reminders that we get now and again that they're like comedically inhumanly stupid, but unfortunately this stuff does work with a lot of people. Did none of you get the Dan Herschel video? You guys suck. Me with you guys.
Students are all morons! I give them everything they need to know, and they still fail. Always! And it's not because I'm a bad teacher. I'm a very good teacher. It's because they're stupid! And then the parents ask, why aren't you teaching them good enough? Why didn't you teach them to read?
This genuinely, like, the cadence isn't that far off from Stephen Miller, and also he's right.
It's your fault your kid's stupid, not mine.
These aren't the same guy. Maybe they are. Have you ever seen Dan Henschel and Stephen Miller in the same room together? Yeah, I haven't either. No fashion check on the suit that looks 8 sizes too large. Are you simple? Is there water in your head? It's a joke. It's a bit. That's why he's wearing an ill-fitting suit. Yeah, I gotta say, I agree with what he's saying here, by the way. Isn't it crazy now how if students underperform, it's the teacher's fault? Or both, like, the parents and the teachers are having meetings to discuss how to teach their kids? Like, I get it if there's, like, a special needs thing, or if, like, a teacher is racist or whatever. Like, I understand. But yeah, sometimes your kid's just shit. Sometimes your kid just sucks. I think that teachers should have more... I think teachers should be able to kill one student per semester. A really annoying one. 4 years seems a bit much. Well, it's only 2 semesters per year when you're a kid, right? That's 4 semesters is when you're in college. No? Doesn't it vary per school district? It's always 2 per year, lol. I've been out of school for a while. There were schools with 2 and schools with 4. Okay, yeah. Kids would shape up real quick. Yeah, I feel like it'd be good for them. Feel like it'd make them stronger. If you're watching and you haven't hit the like button, by the way, you would have been one of those students. YouTube chat, I'm looking at you right now. Me who had racist teachers. Okay, fine, we'll balance it out. And like the kids can choose one teacher every semester to be sentenced to the device. How about that? Is that fair? That's got to be fair. I'm just trying to bring back that, like, what is it? The Greek, what is it? The like practice they had? Was it in Athens or whatever? Where every year they would all write the name of the guy they found most annoying. Ostracism? Yeah, they would all write the name on like a piece of pottery, and the guy who got the most votes got exiled for a decade. I just want to bring that back. What's the difference between the device and the contraption? You can only really tell if you've been in both.